Out with the old, in with the old new. New old. Older but new. New to us. Older. Upgrade. Haven't talked about it much. We will, eventually. We'll get there. So he's gonna use the forks here. We got a little bit of a tight situation to get this over where we want it, but he's gonna put the forks under the main table, deck, whatever the frame is you call. A couple pieces we gotta fix on this. You can see there was some damage done to by the previous owner. Deals, it's all about deals. Pretty low use machine, not a lot of hours on it. So the deal was right, so we had to do some fixing ourselves, but we'll get her fixed. This thing is heavy, very heavy. The skid steer can do it, but it's heavy. Whew. The Klossy Matosa C1765, 17-inch. What do you call the room here? 2-inch bore, and I want to say it's a 80-some inch deck. I gotta look and see exactly. I forget. 70. More than that one. This is a significant upgrade from the previous lathe that we had. There was some interesting damage done to this unit by a previous machinist who was running it. Clearly had a anger issue, and you can tell took a hammer and broke most of the handles off everything. So we sourced and found new handles, leg arms, re-welded that together. Quickly made a makeshift one here. New handles across all those. Like I said, the deal was right, I think. I hope. I can tell I need some air in that tire there too. Yeah, it's gonna feel like a different shop entirely. It's crazy what a little bit of work does. When I say a little bit of work, I mean like 2 weeks in this shop doing this. Right after we bought this too, one popped up. They had like never pop up in the area. One popped up in the area, older, same unit, just older, probably 7, 8 years older, and it has a 3-inch bore, same dimensions otherwise, with a couple more attachments. We probably should have just put this up for sale right away and bought that one, but this one is newer. That one definitely has a lot more use on it. You can see it is well used. These pads came with it. We're gonna put them back under it. Square it up to the wall, that's what we want. That way it's not nice, you know, keep things square. A little off crooked, it's gonna mess you up. So, he should probably come take a look at this. All right. Well, it's gonna sit there for the next 40 years. There is a problem with this lathe though. It's a fixable problem, but it's a problem. Mechanically, as far as we know, great. Problem is 3-phase. Our farm does not have 3-phase. To get 3-phase here, it costs $500,000 or more. Probably more. It's a couple miles down the road, and it's expensive to get 3-phase. So we're single-phase here on the farm. This is a 3-phase. So what we gotta do is we gotta come up with make a couple more phases. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can use a VFD, which we did buy one, but unfortunately the VFD requires quite a bit of, it's locked or shut right now, rewiring of this system to the VFD, so you get all your controls running to work as you want. It works, it just takes a lot of electronic knowledge. The other option is a single phase converter, or static phase converter, and that basically is a unit with capacitors built up into it, and you turn around and charge up the capacitors, and then you're able to throw the motor in gear, still lose a phase on the motor, I believe, but what'll happen is it'll work. It's just you go from like, this is a 7.5 horsepower motor, it cuts it back down to about 6 horse, 5.5, 6 horsepower. So you lose power, but it works, it's cheaper. Or the other way is use a rotary phase converter.
So a single to 3-phase rotary converter. So basically it's like having another electric motor. Mm-hmm. So it's able to kick that on, get it going, and that converts it to 3-phase.
That creates phases
needs
for this.
The 3-phase, you can draw off of it.
So you're basically having a motor to run a motor.
Right.
So you use single phase to run a motor, and that motor's specially designed and then kick out a couple more phases to power the 3-phase. So go from single to 3.
Or we just pay $100,000 or more to get 3-phase to the farm.
It was more like $500,000 to $1 million.
I liked my version of saying $100,000 instead of that, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Did you talk about why we upgraded?
Well,
because we could.
Yeah. We wanted a 2-inch bore. That's one big thing.
We needed a 2-inch bore for all the stuff we're doing, and that little lathe that we had, the 1440.
That's like a gunsmith lathe, really, what that thing is.
Let's just say it's been pushed to its limit, and we really need a bigger lathe for what we do.
That's like a 3 horsepower. This is a 7.5 horsepower. And all the iron in this is just heavier. Heavy. Everything's heavy. Chattering. I mean, the amount of things we could have used this for. We haven't used it yet, so I guess we don't fully know, but everything is just built way heavier. So the combination.
The other thing too is I never had a power feed this way. I could power feed back and forth, meaning let it gear itself and it'd automatically go this way. I now have that option to throw a lever and it'll automatically start power feeding as I need, which is awesome. Oh, I'm so jacked about that.
And it's got a kit to give you your measurements for X and Y.
X and Y, so like...
There's a strip back behind here that'll read where this is at. I really need to know all the terminology for a lathe. I don't. You guys are just laughing at me right now.
There you go.
Oh, it turns on. This is 110. It's not turning on.
Did I turn it off?
You have to hold the, there's a button right here. Probably have to press that one.
Is this,
somebody cut the power.
Sorry.
Hey, it's got lights now. There we go. Pretty cool. Look at that.
On the camera, just flickering all sorts of numbers.
Will we use that? I don't know. Maybe. So anyways, yes, some damage was done to some stuff that we can fix. The main structure of it's in good. So that'll be a nice lathe. When we get the rotary phase converter, we found one used for half the price over across Montana. So we're gonna get that here this week. Get that wired in. And we got some more stuff to move around here. So it's been a long time. Let's just keep going. Get the shop going. Just look at the space. That just sort of, well, I guess some areas. Let's go back in here. Let's take a look at this space. The Yankum wall. Ah, the Yankum wall. Nice. Oil. Those are shoved back against the wall now. They used to stick out to here because the shelving was in the way. Oh, yeah. Pipes are all up there. Looking good. Okay. He still wants to put his lights up there, so we'll probably do that. He's got it. He doesn't need help. He's got it. Okay. You need a stool?
You can slide in more.
Here, I got it right here. I got it.
Got it?
Yep. I got my foot. I'm holding it. Skeeter it in.
Oh,
can you skeeter that side in too, please?
I'm going to skeeter you in.
I'm standing on it.
Yeah, skeeter. No, buddy.
Now you want to throw a level up there?
Could go with, yeah.
Probably want to kick it down. We'll probably need to go to the east a little bit. Notice how we say north, south, east, west in this shop. Well, because the shop's laid out north, south, east, west. But for some odd reason, we decided to build our houses on weird angles to face hills. And now when I put on my window, yeah, it's out the east. No, that's not east. That's more like 040, 030. Not 090. No. It doesn't look like, well, if we keep going, we should be able to hit those studs.
Oh, actually, you're right.
But we need to slide it because if you don't need a light on this end, we need the light that way. So we need to go as far as we can this way. So I got it. So we need to slide. I'd slide this way all the way to the edge up there. Oh, that's the metal beam. That's right. Never mind, we can't do that. We can only go about 1 inch. Yeah. The metal beam's right there. It's not gonna work. Okay, never mind. We'll just did it here. So we need to put some wedges underneath that thing. Where do you want it?
Well, that's, I mean, originally, of course, it was right there in front.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean,
okay.
You don't have to have it. What do you think?
That's fine.
Either you put it there or you put it there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, that gives us quite a bit of room in this area.
Mm-hmm. Way more. One thing to make sure is your lathe is as level as you can get it. So I got a level on this base here. This should be a great spot to figure a level on. My ball is a little bit to the back end, which means I need to bring the front of this up a little bit. So they got these bolts here you can turn down and it'll push down to the floor and lift the unit up. So there's 6 of them on this machine. So I'm gonna work my way around, see if I get this thing leveled really good. And then when that rotary phase converter comes, we'll get her wired in. But we still gotta get power to the area. There's still some things I do, so don't expect the thing to run this video. next video maybe. Then we managed to make ourselves over to this corner now. This is our iron working side, welding, grinding, plasma cutting, and it's been due for some makeover too. So used to be a shelf there. It's now over here. Grandpa probably made that. We're doing something different. We're gonna take this wall apart. We're gonna get a new sub panel. That's an oldie, not big enough. Get a new sub panel put in. We're gonna have outlets put across all here for the plasma cutter, welder. We have one over here with a splitter. It's kind of weird, and one over here. And anyway, so the goal is to put them all in a line of here. That's his idea. Then just a lot of cleaning up. Old toolbox came out, brought in another toolbox we weren't really using, and that's now gonna be all the parts for plasma cutting, welding, all the good stuff. Grinders and everything, we gotta figure out where we're gonna put them all, parts for that. So he's just sitting here organizing. I installed something we were gonna do a long time ago and just never did it. Is an extension cord hanging from the ceiling here that can pivot back and forth, as you can see. So that way, you're not having to plug into these outlets for your grinders and constantly tripping over and people can't get around you. Now you can just plug them into here, do your grinding, unhook them. So, make sense? Dad's still working on the old shelving unit that was over here. He's cutting off the angle on it, and we're gonna put that in another building. So he's salvaging that, so he's gonna finish that up soon. It's pretty amazing though, just how much space this shop just opened the floor up. Got some casting wheels we're gonna put on the bandsaw so we can roll that around. Probably not gonna do that with the iron worker. I think it might just stay there. But certain machines that we don't use very much, that we just need to swing out, use it, and swing it back, that'll be on wheels. So making good progress, looking good. For how old this floor is in this shop, you think there'd be a lot more cracks in here, but it's amazing. Just really one big one that separates that chunk from this trunk. There was no control lines cut when they did this. There's another fine crack, I think over here somewhere goes across, but it's pretty amazing really. So this one though keeps growing a little bit and chipping away. We got some stuff we had bought for some other jobs and got quite a bit of it. So I think I'm gonna blow this thing out and put some sealer in there and see if we can fill that up and maybe keep it from being a little bit of a trip hazard. After cleaning this crack, we realized it goes all the way down to the bottom, obviously, and it's pretty deep, and I don't have enough of that stuff. It's expensive. So we found a bunch of old mortar upstairs, so we're gonna fill a lot of it with that. And then if we have a little bit left over, then we'll seal it with the concrete sealer. But for now, let's just use this mortar, fill her up, why not? Well, there you go. Don't quit your day job.
I'm gonna quit it.
He is really good at this. This you do this for a living. Because mortar's exactly what you're supposed to use on something like this.
I mean, you could, this
Well,
is smoother than a baby's butt.
We've been using metal chips, filings, plastic chunks, tripped zip tie-ins, chunks of wood, sawdust, occasional cat and dog turd, and a dead mouse to plug this throughout the years. So I would say this is an improvement. Like I said, it's probably gonna chip the top out, but at least now we have a base to then put that stuff in. Well, before our patch job was even dried, we found our way in another project. It's just amazing how this happens. I just looked over and I was like, wow, fancy that. Maybe it's not in deep enough and it won't hiss there, and I pulled on and it hissed there. So, like, yeah, better take it off and take it in and have them patch it. And then while we're at it, we were kind of looking at something else back here. You can see how the floor dry. We've had a leak, a hydraulic leak back here. And we've been trying to figure out where it's coming from, and there's just no way to see where it's coming from. Somewhere under here, it's dripping around underneath the def tank. And we've looked, and you can just, I mean, there's just no way. You can't, there's nothing wet visible from anywhere without digging into this. And I think we're getting to the point where we're gonna have to dig into it, because the leak's getting worse. We're pretty sure it's the hydraulic tank. Something with the hydraulic tank. Whether it's a fitting, the hose, the hydraulic tank itself. We have no idea how to get it apart to get to it. somehow,
On there and see if I can get.
I don't know if that's separate frame. I think it, no, that's welded together. That whole yellow, this whole thing cannot come off very easily. It is just one giant piece welded together. So the only way I think we can access this hydraulic tank is we got to pull the coolers off to get in here deeper so we can get up and around. And if the tank's got a hole in it, I don't even know, it's probably a plastic tank. If it's a steel tank, we might be able to do something about it, but it's still probably got to come out. So how do you get the tank out of there? We're gonna find out. All right, take these two hose clamps off, you said? Oh, and then get that hose clamp on there. All right, we got the coolers off, except for the hydraulic cooler. He's digging out mud by hand, because the bottom of these things always get packed.
It's mud.
Just oil and dirt.
I think that's what they use to build the pyramids out of.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You know, stuff you stomp your feet in and make like
straw and clay. And so now would probably be a great time too to change some belts. So I think tomorrow we're gonna call parts store and see if they have some belts on hand, and we'll get some new belts because really don't feel like draining the coolant to change a belt and do all this. There's the coolers. So this has got air to air and water. And then, oh no, that's air to air. That's water. And that's the fan. Little guy. It's definitely wet down there.
Oh, it's.
The question is, what is leaking?
Could just be the suction line.
I'd say I'm hoping it's just a hose clamp on a hose that's loose. It just needs to tighten up a little bit.
I can't tell until I get this goo out of there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
How did I get recruited to do this?
I was doing it, and then he just stepped in there.
I don't really think things through, do I? Must be. Oh, it's like a shop rag. You know what I think it is, Nick?
Yeah.
There's so much dirt here. I think the suction hose has just been wearing on it.
Probably.
That suction hose is slimy.
Well, we're kind of baffled with this thing. We let it sit overnight. I washed it last night before let it sit overnight. Got all the grease and grime and dirt out of it. It's a little wet now because I just washed again, but that suction line, that's what feeds the main pump of the hydraulic system. I noticed that hose clamp was loose last night, which wasn't snug as it should be. So I figured that's where it was leaking. I was expecting to find a puddle of oil underneath it this morning. There was no puddle of oil. It was actually pretty dry. We've checked up and around and all around. We cannot see any wet spots. So either the tank has a hole in it somewhere, and it's between the def tank and the hydraulic tank, or somewhere on the bottom. This side, this is the hydraulic tank. I got a screwdriver jammed underneath because I'm lifting it up a little bit because I just pressure wash underneath there to clean out any dirt, rocks, or residue that might be rubbing on the tank. We'll let it dry and I'll check again for oil residue because this is where it leaks out. It comes out right at the bottom, right at the drain port right here. Not from the drain port, from underneath here. So our theory so far is this hose clamp was loose on the suction line, and this was packed full of dirt here. And so maybe the dirt was putting pressure on the suction line enough that it was causing it to weep past that hose clamp seal right there. So we tightened that up, so now it's tight. We got one more leak up above that's unrelated, but it's on that same line. It doesn't run all the way down, it's up a ways. That's a little loose too. These hose clamps, a lot of hose clamps, you know, and they probably just work loose over time. So with all the dirt out of there and the clamp tight, we might have fixed our leak. If we didn't, we're gonna put all this back together again and find out it's putting puddles on the ground again. Let's just hope that that's not what's gonna happen. All right, we've come to the conclusion that either it's something to do with that suction line and we fixed it, or there's a wear mark in the tank somewhere and it's seeping through. And so it's not leaking anymore. So we're gonna button all this back up, put it together and run it. And if we start getting drips on the ground again, we'll know what that means. And that's come back in here, tear this all out, and start the process to get that tank out of there. Not fun, but might not have to do it. So let's get this together. All right. Let's put her back down and start her up, see what happens. Got the tire fixed. Our pressure washer decided it was time to move on to the next life. And so we didn't get a chance to pressure wash this out. We got parts coming. We'll fix that up when it happens. But it's got to be a little dirty for a little while longer. We'll lift this up now. We've seen underneath here and know that it needs taken care of. How does this work? There's a safety spot right there. I go over the top, perfect, just like that. All right, I can set her down. Got a cover to put on the bottom. I drove for it, as you can probably see why, so I didn't have to be in that mess. All right, well, good. I think it's back in action. We'll watch for drips. I'm sure it'll start dripping. I hope not. All right, let's go to the next thing. We're about ready for some big things in the shop. We were kind of waiting to get some of that stuff tied up over there. We just kept moving from location, location, location. That's getting out of here. Dad just finished completely remodeling this thing. Cut off a good chunk of the angle that was up against these slanted walls, turned it into a nice square shelving unit. That's going in another building. That comes out of here. This all slides out of here. We open the big door and we bring in something big and start working on it, because it's not gonna be long. We're gonna be in the field. So this is always how it goes. Gotta get this stuff ready. Let's get to it. Okay, time to make some room. Hauling Dad's modified shelves out of the shop. We'll put this outside for the time being until we're ready to put it in the other building. Yeah, this one again. That's what's coming in. Eventually, we will get that one back in. But this one needs done. We've got some leaks in some important areas and some parts to fix those leaks. So we're gonna get to it. It's time. Let's get this thing started. Today's the last of the warm days for at least almost a week. So it's the best time to get this old girl started. So he's gonna go ahead and try it. She usually starts pretty good in the cold. We're not doing ether right now, so this is just pure diesel. Come on, girl, no glow plugs. Oh, it's close. There we go.
Oh, poor thing. Oh, that starter's like, help me. It was right on there. It was just ready to start. And it finally started. This engine's definitely getting a little weaker. I mean, it's got... Well, the hour meter says 5,000 hours on it. It's probably about 5,000 hours on this engine, which really isn't necessarily a lot of hours for this K engine, but it also has been hurt. I don't know. It's getting old, but it runs good still. Just takes a while to start. Oh, the fun of pulling duals off and fixing planetary leaky wheel seals. Not looking forward to it. But we also have this injection pump down here that we need to replace, because last year injection pump just started puking out diesel and it wouldn't run. So we pulled an old injection pump, if you guys didn't see, from an old engine, put it on here, which is rated at 450 horsepower to get this thing to run, to get us through the seeding season, and it actually did pretty well. So now I got to change the injection pump. We got a yoke seal to fix underneath the transmission. It's a seal and a yoke that we got to replace, and then we got the bearing on the front for the wheel seal, and then the back bearing that we just did is leaking again. We got to figure out why. Obviously something's wrong. And then a few minor things to do on this thing, and then park it and get the next thing in machinery, whatever that might be. And then that beautiful 700 horsepower right there is sitting all cold, and it's got friends in here, so that's all that matters.
Oh, I can't wait to run that thing. Soon. Soon enough. Oh yeah.
It's a pretty sweet tractor, to be honest. I really do like this tractor. It just... Each one of our buds have its own feel. Like, they all have their own unique flavor, I guess you could say. That's a good way to say it, flavor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it up, we'll put a block on the front tire, lift it up, pull the outside dual off, put it aside, and then we'll do the same thing on the back, and then we'll take this tractor, put it in the shop, and then we'll do the process of jacking everything up and taking it all apart. Now, will we do that today? Probably not. We're gonna just get it in the shop, and then that way we can start tackling it, because things are cold. Iron's cold. Let's let it warm up a little bit.
I just talked to the leg arms over here. This thing feels like it's baby tires. Look at that. 865 32s. I remember these things being a lot bigger. We didn't get bigger. I'm not getting bigger, at least not taller. That is weird. That's what happens when you spend a lot of time around 1400s. The LSW club, you get kind of perspective changes. This tractor's not as big as it used to be. It's still good.
We got to grab a couple blocks here. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Just grab one at a time, because you guys want to visit with me. Oh, there we go. There's one. So we'll do the front first, and then we'll do the back. Pretty sure. If you want to get the impact, I think it's 1.5 inches is what the socket.
I think that's 1.5 inches. But
it might be 1.5 inches, but it could be off. Yeah. I don't know. It could be 1 inch and 23/17 or something. I don't know. There's one. Trust me, one's not enough. You're gonna need another one. Hello. I'm gonna pick you, Pikachu. You're not really Pikachu, but I'm gonna pick you. There we go. Gotcha. Just so you guys can see me working, knowing that I'm not lazy. You got your proof, didn't you? Good.
Think we need a little air in that tire? Yeah, it'll get some. Too dirty. That's been in some mud.
That tire is low. So is the back one. My goodness. We usually check them before spring seeding, and that just seems low. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get some air in them. Yeah, there's enough room to walk around on it. So the reason why we twisted this tractor sideways is because we want to be able to get the skid steer over here with the forks, so we can pick this tire up and move it off. What's nice though is we have these lugs here that we can put a chain to. With the skid steer, we can just walk it off real quick and then put it on. It's not so bad. But that's the plan. Get that taken care of. Fun.